In 1985, for the 1986 model year, Cadillac introduced the replacement for the 10th generation Eldorado. What we saw was a much smaller car with 16 inches in length and 350 pounds shed overall. The car wasn't exactly what you would call a success. The 11th generation was basically a two-door version of the Seville, and despite Cadillac's attempts to market to European customers, saw that their vehicle was regarded as too small for their traditional buyers and nowhere near refined enough to compete with the likes of Audi, BMW, and Mercedes-Benz. The redesign didn't help the Eldorado, unfortunately, as from 1985 to 1986, sales dropped an astronomical 72%. But does this make the Eldorado a bad car? Today, we will answer that question as we take a look at this very nice and very well preserved 1987 Cadillac Eldorado. Painted in black sapphire metallic, this car features the dark blue vinyl roof treatment and a decidedly 80s neutral shale leather interior with genuine American walnut trim. I'm not going to lie, and normally I remain unbiased in my reviews, however, I not only like this car, I love it. It shows the best and the worst of Cadillac during this time, and ultimately the worst of GM in general. While not at all the popular version of the Eldorado, I can't help but appreciate the elegant straight lines of the car, the gentle downsweep line of the C-pillar that leads to the trunk, and the overall tidy appearance. This car cannot hide its Toronado Riviera platform styling. True to Cadillac tradition, the Eldorado is front-wheel drive with power coming from a, at least by today's standards, lethargic 4.1-liter HT 4100 overhead valve pushrod V8 engine. This engine is in Cadillac's high-technology engine line and is constructed, interestingly enough, with aluminum block and cast-iron heads, with digital ECM control throttle body fuel injection system and a 9.5:1 compression ratio. This engine creates 130 horsepower at 4,200 RPM, 200 pound-feet of torque at 2,200 RPM, and can accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in a blistering 12.1 seconds. 0 to 100 miles per hour is reached in 42.3 seconds if you so dare, and a quarter mile is trapped in 18.7 seconds at 75 miles per hour. Top speed is limited to 110 miles per hour. The Eldorado is equipped with an 18 US gallon fuel capacity and consumes 5.6 gallons per 100 miles driven, with an estimated total driving range of around 324 miles. EPA fuel economy figures are 15 miles per gallon city, 23 miles per gallon highway, and 18 miles per gallon combined. The sole available transmission on this car is a smooth shifting transverse mounted 4-speed turbo hydromatic 440 T4 automatic. This transmission features manual shift capability using a floor-mounted leather-wrapped T-handle shifter with duplicate digital Prindle readouts on the instrument cluster. While commonplace nowadays, it was quite novel in the 1980s. Rear suspension is body isolated, fully independent with single transverse fiberglass springs, superlift shock absorbers, and electronic level control. As we walk around the rear of the Eldorado, nothing has changed since its introduction in 1986. The C-pillar styling, while very similar to the Toronado and Riviera, look especially right on this Cadillac. I'm not generally a fan of vinyl tops, but I am impressed that this top aged so well with no rips or tears. The long trunk lid cuts down abruptly at a 90-degree angle, stopping at the license plate frame. The taillights are especially well done, supposedly harkening back at the large upright tail fins, although I don't personally see it. Lenses are full red, trimmed in chrome, and feature small Cadillac logos embossed in the plastic. Illumination is of course incandescent. Sadly, due to the federal crash protection regulations, the protruding bumpers mar an otherwise attractive rear end, something not common in most vehicles. Along the profile, the Eldorado looks like a two-door Seville basically because it is, but really shares its silhouette with its platform mates, the Buick Riviera and Oldsmobile Toronado. The Eldorado sits on a 108-inch wheelbase with an overall length of 188.2 inches. Steering is hydraulically assisted rack and pinion with 16.5 to 1 steering ratio and 2.8 turns lock to lock. The Eldorado features a 39.4 foot turning radius. Wheels are the 14-inch black painted steel with polished aluminum wire spoke wheel covers. Tires are 205/75 R14 Michelin Weatherwise all-season tires, and brakes are hydraulically assisted four-wheel disc brakes with no assist. ABS would come later in 1989. Up front are 10.24-inch vented rotors with single piston calipers, with 10-inch solid rotors in the rear fitted with single piston calipers. These brakes can halt the Eldorado from 60 miles per hour to 0 in around 110 feet. Front suspension is fully independent McPherson struts with coil springs, internal shock absorbers, and a front stabilizer bar. Up front, the Eldorado is distinctively Cadillac with the front clip taken from the Seville sedan. Traditional long hood design abruptly terminates into a narrow front clip with twin beam sealed halogen headlamps and bumper mounted turn indicators, which are also equipped with cornering lamps that help illuminate cross paths at night during a right or left hand turn. The grille on this car I don't believe is to be factory and looks like it came straight out of a J.C. Whitney catalog. A large Rolls-Royce style radiator topper mounted on the hood features a custom built by Fisher badge along with a gold plated hood ornament. Grille treatment is polished chrome with gold plated inserts. In any event, regardless of styling differences, I happen to be a fan of the narrow front lines. Alright, now, being 1987, there's no smart key access system obviously, and there's no keyless remote entry. We just have our simple two keys, oval key for doors and trunk, and our square key for our ignition. Now you can see we have a nice big door handle here, nice solid pulling door handle with the push button. And inside is an absolutely gorgeous interior, light neutral shale leather. Very nicely styled and designed, very 80s GM. Take a look at the long door panels here. All of it is in a really nice soft touch vinyl. You do have some chrome accents, really nice door pulls here, a plethora of controls. You got your unlock and lock button here, your power windows, your power seat controls. Chrome door pulls. You've also got carpeting on the lower portion of it. Alright, taking a look up here, four-way flashers, your Twilight Sentinel automatic headlamp control, interior panel light control, headlamp switch, parking light switch, and a light off. You've also got a driver's side air vent here, and underneath is a little lever to turn it on and off. Pump to set foot brake. Your hood release is down here. And down here you do have a nice large threshold plate with the Eldorado script. Manual seat recliner for the driver's seat. Speaking of the seats, let's take a look at them. The seats are a very thin shell design, but the seats are very comfortable. They don't offer any kind of lateral support or anything like that. So they're not very grippy in turns, but this is not what this car is for. But as you can see, the seats are really nicely styled. They're very comfortable with pleated leather. The Cadillac wreath here in the back. High adjustable head restraints. Overall, the seats are very, very comfortable. What you would expect from a All right, let's pan through the interior and show more details. As you can see here, nice, fluidic, easy to use, hydraulically assisted power steering, a very nice thin rimmed leather steering wheel. It is a 2-spoke design. It is a tilt and telescoping steering wheel. You've got these driftwood accents here, is what Cadillac calls it on the RPO codes. You do have a nice Cadillac wreath and crest emblem front and center. And down below, you have your cruise controls. Your power switch is actually right over there on the console for on and off. And you have your set and coast button here, resume, accelerate, and of course you've got your horn button. Let's listen to the key and ignition chime. It's pretty wild. So it's actually in the glove box, and it is a physical hammer hitting a bell. All right, taking a look at the instrument panel. Not much to show here. Vacuum fluorescent, doped in phosphor green. You do have a fuel gauge here that reads your gallons to empty. Central speedometer. You've also got miles and trip miles, and then your Prindle display there. 67,350 miles are all that is on this car. Down here is just a bank of warning lights. Now, let's take a quick listen at the novel but rather annoying turn signal chime. Alright, let's pan over the top of the dash and show more details. As you can see, overall, it's actually in really nice shape. The vinyl hasn't split or cracked or anything like that. The only blemish is actually on the glove box door. It is very heavily discolored, and I'm not really sure of the reason why. Alright, take a look at the right-hand controls. You've got your wiper controls here, your washer. This is your delay, min to max. Cruise control power switch, as stated before. Your mirror control, left and right, with the joystick here. As you can see, you do have this driftwood panel here as well. It graces the entire dashboard itself. It looks really nice. And here we have, for our 4-speaker sound system, we have the AM/FM stereo cassette player. It does have a 5-band graphic equalizer. You've also got your balance and fade controls here. You got your memory sets, digital display, auto reverse. You also got Dolby noise reduction. You've also got you got your chromium settings, AM stereo setting. You can do search, eject your tape, forward and reverse your tracks. All right, let's move down here. Another air vent here. And we got our controls here for our automatic climate control. 2 buttons that control your temperature. Down below you got controls for off, auto, economy, front defroster, rear defroster, and your fan speeds, just low, normal, and high. There is no panel distribution. And down even further is our driver information center. Alright, moving down the console, as you can see here, nice large leather wrap T-handle shifter. Opening the console here reveals an ashtray and a cigarette lighter, and I don't believe this car has ever been smoked in. More of this driftwood accent here. Another trick party feature here is this little panel here. Rolling this thumb wheel forward reveals your cup or your coin holder, and going backwards reveals a cup holder. Not a very useful one, but it's there nonetheless. Alright, and now we have a padded center armrest with the same neutral shale leather. It is a 2-piece opening armrest with the top part being lockable. If you are so inclined, you could have had Cadillac's cell phone option, but we don't have that, so we just have some flock storage. All right, more of the driftwood accents. And this is the second part of the console that opens up into more flock storage for cassette tapes. Overall, I feel like the interior of this Eldorado is actually a really nice car. It's a really nice place to be. Very comfortable, very quiet. The seats are comfortable and nice and supportive. Overall, I just like the interior. All right, our mirror actually isn't stuck to the windshield anymore, but basically what it is a automatic dimming rearview mirror. So you have off and auto, and then you have a little thumb wheel distance meter here for the sensitivity. Moving overhead, you have overhead reading lamps, and then a spot to put a garage door opener in. Sun visors are large, cloth covered and padded. They open up to reveal illuminated vanity mirrors on both driver and passenger side with adjustable lighting. And of course, the sun visors do swing out, and they don't slide, but they do have slide out tinted extensions. And you have fixed overhead assist handles. All right, let's take a look at that rear seat now. We're going to go ahead and open up the door again. Getting into the rear seat is actually very easy due to the fact that the seat belts actually extend up into the ceiling, so they actually do make kind of a door. Go ahead and move the seat forward a little bit here. And of course you have passenger assist handles here. All right, but taking a look at the rear seat does seat 3 across. It is a fixed bench seat. It does not fold into the trunk pass-throughs. But as you can see, the pleated leather continues, as well as the Cadillac wreath embroidery. Outboard seats have 3-point belts. Kind of a novelty in 1987 for American cars. Most of them still had lap belts. And you do still have a lap belt for the center belt. And of course, you also have a fold-down center armrest, a very nice touch. No cup holders back here, however. Integrated into the C-pillar, you do have reading lights. That is a nice touch. You've also got nice padded armrest. And true to the 80s, you have rear ashtrays and cigarette lighters. Now, as I stated before, this car has actually never been smoked in, so these ashtrays have actually never been used. But you can actually take those out and they can double as 12-volt power points. Alright, and sadly, no seat back mat pockets, so no real interior back seat storage for our rear seat guests. Alright, so say you want to gain access to the trunk. Well, there are a couple ways you can do that. Inside the glove box, you do have your trunk release button here. Or you can open it with the key. Keyhole is behind the Cadillac wreath. Alright, here we go. Here's the trunk. The trunk is actually pretty big. It's not very deep, but it is wide. You do have kind of a high lift over height. It's about waist high on a 5'5" person. But as you can see in here, it's fully lined, fully carpeted. You even have a protection mat here. You do have your speaker boxes here, so it does impede on some storage. However, overall, it's actually pretty good. Underneath the floor mat, you do have your spare tire and stuff like that. And of course, it also soft closes. Alrighty, that does conclude our in-depth walk-around look at the 1987 Cadillac Eldorado. We hope you liked this video, and if you did like this video, please comment down below. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, and check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/neighborhoodcarreviews. And of course, check out our Instagram at BrensoJ1. And as always, thanks for watching.